What's new in 5.0? For this demonstration, we'll be reviewing the new features and functionalities, as well as the new look and feel of WFM version 5.0. Starting on the home page, let's look at the schedule adherence monitor. The list view and the default view of the pie chart are the same, showing the percentage of your agents who are in adherence versus out of adherence, and of course, those segments are still interactive. Click on any segment to see a list of who's represented by those percentages. The legend below shows your adherence thresholds. We've added two new tabs above the pie chart view, Scheduled Events and Device States, to show you information that you would normally find in adherence reports. The Scheduled Events tab shows a snapshot of scheduled events at the time when the home page was last refreshed. The legend below lists the event types that are currently scheduled and in use. Hover over any segment of the pie chart to see the name of the event and the percentage of agents in that event. Click on a segment to see a list of the agents who are scheduled for that event. The number in the middle is the unique event count, the number of different event types currently scheduled. The Device States tab has the same view types as the other tabs. Previously, you could find device states on the Adherence Alerts report or on the transaction line of the Daily Adherence report. Now, the data is also embedded in this Schedule Adherence monitor on the home page. Hover over a segment to see the device state represented and the percentage of agents in that state. It shows all the different logged out, not ready, and auxiliary codes. If there's no defined color for the device state, it will default to green. Click on a segment to see a list of the agents in that state. Another change on the home page is in the Weekly Schedule module. There are larger fonts for the agent names, and the size of the schedule line is larger, assisting in overall visibility. The corners of the events are rounded for a more modern look. In addition, you can now choose which agents you see in this module via the Options panel. Previously, you could only see agents who report to you in the organizational tree. For example, a supervisor could only see their team unless they loaded the full report and impersonated another supervisor. Now, using the Options panel, you can filter participants by supervisor and change the date range and sort options. We took the features and options from the full published schedule report and embedded them into the module on the home page. There's no longer a need to daisy-chain supervisors to each other. If supervisors can impersonate each other, they can view each other's teams in this homepage module. Another change to the schedule view is that it will automatically snap to the median time of your agent's shifts, instead of defaulting to midnight. For example, if most of your agents start their shifts between 6 and 7 a.m., it will snap the output to that time, alleviating the need to scroll to the right when opening the report. If you do scroll to the right, agents that have early start times will be visible underneath the agent's name window because it's opaque. If an event on a schedule has a drag and scale appearance, it means you cannot use the drag and drop method to move the event. This occurs when the scheduled event flows overnight, or in situations where an agent successfully requested multiple days off that must be approved together. Right-click editing is still available for these events. When you make changes to a schedule by editing, you'll notice that a red number appears in the PC or Pending Changes button. Click the PC button to refresh the page and apply the changes. General navigation. The general navigation of the product is, for the most part, the same. The look and feel is a little different, and we've improved the ease of navigation. You'll also notice as you start using the system that it's more responsive. The navigation between windows is much faster than previous versions because of our new multi-threaded API. There are two additional notification methods available to license within WFM: Microsoft Teams and Slack. Please reach out to your account manager for more information and pricing regarding these options. We've added some features to the main menu to help with navigation. In previous versions, if you clicked on a main menu item, you'd need to get a screen showing only the first level of the submenu items. To go further into the menus, you had to click on one of those items. Now we're able to deploy additional levels of the submenu items onto the same page. When you click Settings, you'll see the submenu options under the Settings tile. There are fewer clicks to get where you want to go. The usability of the tiles has changed. Instead of clicking anywhere in the tile, you now need to click on the link underneath the line. We did this to make it neater and cleaner, but also to add the ability to minimize the tiles. For example, if you know what adherence thresholds are, you don't need to see the description. In the upper right corner is a green plus or minus circle. When you click it, every tile in the system collapses, so you'll just see the tile name and the link. This setting holds throughout the application and is just for your view. If you click on that icon again, it expands the tiles system-wide. We did this to save real estate on the page, and for some people, depending on screen resolution or zoom rate, eliminate some scrolling. Another way we've saved screen space is by moving many of the navigation links and steps to success to a navigation pane on the left side of the page. The gray button near the top of the pane collapses the navigation pane when clicked. Clicking it again expands the pane. It's an effort to make the information on the main part of the page more visible and easier to read. On some pages, the menu items are expanded or collapsed by default. For example, on the Working Forecast page, the Contact Volume and Staffing Requirements menus are pre-expanded because these two items are used most often. Service targets and shrinkage percentages are pre-collapsed because they typically use the settings from the Enterprise model. To expand the menu and see the steps, simply click the triangle. Shrinkage. We're excited about the new ways to report and utilize shrinkage data in 5.0. In previous versions, if you wanted to extrapolate your true shrinkage rates, you were forced to run two separate reports to represent agent behavior shrinkage. The Schedule Event Summary Report, to extrapolate the schedule event shrinkage percentage, and the Adherence History Report, to get the inverse of the out-of-adherence value. These reports could only be run for 1 day at a time. Introducing the new Shrinkage Report. To create the shrinkage data for this report, we've added a new drop-down menu option in the Event Type settings that allows you to designate the shrinkage type. The shrinkage report will be blank until you've reviewed each of your event types and selected the preferred shrinkage category. The default option is does not represent shrinkage. The other options are discretionary and non-discretionary shrinkage. After assigning the shrinkage type to each of your event types, the shrinkage report will present data for the desired date ranges, including your true shrinkage rates for those days, determined by summarizing the data from the event types that were scheduled for those dates. As you populate and edit schedules, anything related to shrinkage type events will populate on the shrinkage report. You can run this shrinkage report for more than 1 day at a time, and it's doing the calculations for you. Not only does this new report show you the actual shrinkage values, it stores this data automatically into its own shrinkage table. That means you can now forecast your shrinkage by creating a forecast profile based on the shrinkage percentage's history, like the way you currently forecast contact volume. In previous versions, if you wanted to forecast your shrinkage, you had two options: upload an Excel spreadsheet with manually calculated shrinkage, or using data from the two previously mentioned reports, or manually enter the desired values for every interval for each day of the week. Now, when creating forecast profiles for shrinkage, you'll see the dynamic and static options, which use the stored historical values created by the shrinkage report. Excel and manual data entry are still options for shrinkage forecast profiles. This should make your forecasting more accurate because you're using your actual shrinkage run rates instead of basic defaults in your forecasting. As a reminder, these new abilities depend on you designating the proper shrinkage type for your events. Another new ability for forecasting is the option to upload contact volume history directly into the WFM database. In previous versions, you were able to create a forecast profile for contact volume by uploading an Excel spreadsheet. However, it was limited to forecasting purposes and could not be used in conjunction with any other method. Now, using the new option inside your data source import screen, you can upload an Excel spreadsheet with contact volume history, which will write the data directly to the associated collection points, storing it in the historical tables as if it had been collected by the data source itself. The only requirement is that you have a collection point that matches the data you're importing. If it doesn't match an existing collection point, the system will not recognize it as valid data. Reports. Next, we'll look at reports available in 5.0. First, notice that today's scheduled adherence report has been renamed to Daily Schedule Adherence. This is merely a wording change, and the report will have a new look and feel consistent with other similar schedule reports. There's a new service built into 5.0 that will automatically summarize event and adherence data on an ongoing basis. With this new service, there will be a dramatic decline in processing time for these reports. Previously, the summary reports relied on collecting raw data, then summarizing that data in real time before outputting the report. Now it will read from the already summarized data, thereby taking a fraction of the time to generate the report. The reports have a new look, as well as enhanced data points. Included in this enhanced output, the graphs are now interactive, including the ability to hide or highlight selected sets of data, and zooming in on a section for a closer look, then resetting the zoom when finished. The published event summary report has been completely reworked. Instead of a la carte options, generating the report loads all of the data formats. Instead of the icons along the top of the report, the buttons represent options for the report output. To see the data summarized by event type and the totals for event types, click these two options to see the outputs and graphs. As in previous versions, the hamburger icon allows exporting the data to CSV or Excel formats, or printing the charts. Also note that when generating a report, there's no longer an Options tab that can end up orphaned and lost in the browser windows. The Options page is now embedded in the report and can be used to change the output directly in the report. No longer is it required to find the Orphaned Options tab to change the output of the report. A new report option is the Schedule Adherence Summary report. This report outputs data similar to the Adherence History report, but in alternate formats. This report uses the new summary service, enabling the report to generate in a fraction of the time it takes to run the Adherence History report. The Adherence History report still exists in version 5.0, but continues to use the slower process, so there's no improvement in the report generation times. The new Adherence Summary report offers a variety of different views of the adherence data, including the ability to show the total adherence percentages for each day of the report, and the ability to filter the output by participant. This is similar to the output of the Adherence History report, but with a new look and feel. This report offers the ability to drill down further by hovering over an agent's tile and clicking on the graph icon to see that agent's adherence details. In the Adherence History report, you could not mass export this data to CSV or Excel formats for more than one agent. With this new Adherence Summary report, when looking at the report by participants, then clicking on the target icon at the top, you have the option to download all data with a click of the icon. Previously, in the Schedule Adherence report, clicking an agent photo would open the agent card. In the new report view, clicking anywhere in the agent name box will open the agent card window. Some elements in the daily schedule adherence area have been moved to the agent card to free up screen space. For example, the adherence summaries, magnifying glass report, and daily schedule view are now available inside the agent card. Due to this view change, the display now includes the agent's full untruncated login ID and which data source they belong to. The transactions count is underneath the data source login ID instead of showing in a bracketed number to the right of the agent's name. This move allowed for a new output, total adherence percentage, showing as a colored circle next to the agent's name. This hard-coded color represents the agent's adherence percentage for the day so far. Anything from 0 to 70 is red, anything from 70 to 80 is orange, 80 to 90 is yellow, and anything above 90 is green. This allows quicker identification of agents who are having trouble with adherence. In addition, the report output can be sorted by this new value. Agent View. Next, we'll look at changes for agents. Agents have new options in their views. Agents can add a new module to their homepage called Agent Adherence Summary. This module is designed for agents and will assist them in becoming more self-reliant and self-managed because they can see their live adherence scores on their homepage. Once added, agents will be able to see their adherence percentage for yesterday, their adherence percentage so far this week, and their adherence percentage so far this month. These sections are automatic and hard-coded. If you're licensed for the mobile app, Community Everywhere, agents can now submit their own photos to be used as their profile picture in WFM. After an agent submits the selfie through the app, a supervisor, or other approved user, will need to approve it before an agent can use it for their profile picture. As an administrator, navigate to the Photo Queue menu to approve or deny all submitted selfies. Planned time off. 5.0 features an overhaul of the PTO system with a variety of new abilities related to time-off processes. After upgrading, all agents are included in what we call Legacy Auto-Approve rules, which is for the most part as it was in the previous version. Agents' time-off requests still go through any validation processes with previously defined auto-approve rules, if you've enabled the auto-approve service. Agents have two menu options in their plan menu, Time-Off Worksheet and Time-Off Requests. Time-Off Worksheet is the new review time-off, but it has more information. Time-Off Requests has two distinct options instead of one, Request Planned Time Off and Request a Recurring Time-Off Event. Is the agent asking for something that occurs every Tuesday for the next month? Or is the agent making a typical time-off request, such as March 23rd off, or the week of April 1st through April 5th? The Request Planned Time Off form has a different look and feel, including a new drop-down option. Is this an all-day request or a partial day request? If selecting a partial day off instead of all day, agents have the option to choose the times of their request. If selecting all day, there are some automations for the request. Agents are no longer required to enter the times of day, as these are automatically calculated. First, the system checks to see if the requested PTO event type has a defined default start time. If this default exists, the system will use that start time for this request. If the requested PTO event type does not have a default start time, the system will refer to the enterprise model's defined hours of operation and use the open time as the start time of the event. Next, the system will refer to the default setting for FTE hours inside the global settings and preferences to determine the default duration for this all-day request. Once the request is approved, the system automatically deletes anything that's scheduled to start on or after the calculated start time of the all-day request, such as lunch and breaks. In addition to these new options, agents can indicate if all dates in a request must be approved together, or if individual dates within the request can be approved or denied. If choosing that dates must be approved together, the system creates the requested days as a single request. If choosing that some dates may be approved and others denied, the system creates separate events for each day. With the new advanced calendar partition rules, there are more options for PTO. With advanced mode, you can use waitlisting, create PTO calendars for different groups, and even PTO bidding. Advanced PTO is a complex process, and not every customer will use these features. Some customers may choose to continue using the PTO functions from previous versions. If your company is interested in the advanced PTO functions, please contact your account manager to discuss setting up a discovery call. This call will allow our training team to understand which features you wish to use and to build a proper training plan for you. Agent Profile. You'll notice some changes in the agent's profile page. The steps to success icons have been moved from the upper right side of the page to the left side navigation pane. Also note the change in the order of two of the steps tiles. Scheduling now appears before adherence. The functions remain the same. Also, there are two new tiles in the agent's profile: Time-Off Settings and Restricted Action Plan, or RAP. General Time-Off Settings is where you can see if this agent is in Legacy mode or the Advanced Calendar Partition mode. Again, all agents will initially be in Legacy mode. All existing auto-approve rules still apply. There's now an option to set a new hire probationary period or hire date delay, during which the agent cannot make time-off requests. Setting an expiration date removes the need to revisit this page later to remove it. The last new feature to show is the Restricted Action Plan. This feature allows you to turn off the ability for an agent to perform certain actions inside the system. Maybe an agent abused the time-off system, or repeatedly signed up for overtime ASAPs, but did not show up for the shift. Or it could be for a disciplinary action, or the need for additional training. After selecting the reason for this RAP, set the duration. On the next screen, you indicate which abilities to disable. The top section is General Items. The bottom section is all about ASAPs. You can completely turn off the ability to log into the application or to use the mobile app. The other options are about time-off requests. If you disable the first option, the agent cannot ask for any time off for the duration of the RAP. In the second option, you can disable the ability for the agent to request time off for dates within the RAP period, but still allow requesting dates outside of the RAP period. Agents can see if they're on a restricted action plan by reviewing their time-off worksheet. We hope you'll take some time to explore the new features of 5.0. Be sure to review the Help tab with short videos for you and your agents that explore how to perform different tasks. For specific questions, please reach out to your support team.